This presentation is a little more support on helping you find and select appropriate sources. The best way to learn what to do is to do what you should not do. So we're going to do a quick Google search of the term George Washington and see how many hits are returned and see why this would pose a problem for us as researchers. Here I simply type in George Washington with no further search cues, and let's see how many hits are returned. 173 million. Now, a student trying to compose a research paper is not going to want to go through 173 million hits. So if you think about our little search, one of the biggest problems students encounter when trying to find and select appropriate sources is making sure their search is narrow enough. So a few things we're going to review today that you will know is how to select sources that are credible, accurate, and reliable. Web and print sources, some things to know. They're not all reliable, relevant, accurate, unbiased, or up to date. So we got to make sure we evaluate the information before we use it. You can use magazine or newspaper articles, books, journals, or the internet or the web. Now take a minute and pause here and look at all the different domain names. Domain names can tell you a lot about whether or not the site is credible. For example, a .edu is .education. That's going to be more credible or reliable than a .com or a .biz that might be biased. They're trying to sell you a product or a service. Now that you've looked at the various domain names and learned to consider what those do in terms of research and credibility, think about the fact that credibility is the quality and capacity of belief. Who authored the article or the website that you're looking at? What are his or her credentials, education, experience? If you can't find the answer to any of those questions, or if any of those answers give you pause, it's probably not a credible source to use for formal research. And is there any evidence in the article or on the website that his or her knowledge is credible and sufficient to be used for research? When looking at your actual source, make sure that it's accurate. Is it riddled with mistakes and errors? Are there grammar mistakes? Does the website look of very poor quality, and is it poorly functioning? Can you actually verify the facts and statistics that come up in your research? If not, it's not an accurate source. And again, check for the errors. Something that looks like it's not been proofread or has an abundance of grammar mistakes or non-working links is probably not a source you want to use. The next thing to consider in terms of selecting appropriate resources is reliability. Does it give the same information as some other sources? So say you found a source that you think might be okay, but then you do an extra search and you realize it contradicts every other reliable source out there. Perhaps it's biased. And if it is it affiliated with a certain organization that they're trying to push your ideas or a particular social agenda? You do not want to use those for research. So let's pause here and think about what we've learned. Gentlemen, you think about how do good researchers compile sources. Go back through the video if you need to be reminded of those key categories. And ladies, how extensive of a search should your research be if your paper is going to be 4 to 5 pages with only 3 sources? And then for anyone, what is one feature of a reliable source? If you're looking for something to use in formal research writing, what would be a key feature that makes it reliable? One last bit of quick practice. We have 2 articles here. Very quickly skim through both of them and decide which article is more credible or reliable, and think about why. Did you have time to think of your answer? Last few seconds. All right, the article on the left is more reliable. You have the author's credentials. It's also scholarly writing. It appears to be unbiased, whereas the one on the right has interesting diction, word choice, is very informal, and states of a lot of opinions. And just to help you summarize the differences between the credible source on the left and the one on the right that was not credible or reliable, here's some extra information. Pause here and read. So you should be ready to go in terms of finding and citing credible sources. If you have any questions, email me, go back through this video, or